Welcome back. One common problem that concurrent or multitasking applications have to handle is to access and perform operations on shared data. AsyncIO module provides lock feature. This lock is a mutex lock. Mutex is short for mutually exclusive, and it means that at one time a shared object can be accessed by only one task. Let's see what does it mean in the code. Take a look at this code. We have here a shared counter, unsafe counter. This function unsafe increment accesses this global counter and increments the value by 1 each time this function or the coroutine is executed. In the main function, we are creating 10 of these tasks using the unsafe increment coroutine. Eventually, we gather them all to make sure they all execute completely. And at the end, we print the counter value. Before I explain this, let's execute this program. You see that each time unsafe increment function is executed, uh, the initial value of the counter is always 0, and each counter increments the value to 1, and the final value we get is 1. Let's see what's happening here. This code inside unsafe increment function has no safety mechanism for the concurrent execution by multiple tasks. We are running 10 tasks. So when each of the tasks accesses the unsafe counter variable, they get the initial value 0, and they increment this value individually without considering the other tasks. So when task 1 increments the value to 1, task 2 doesn't get the updated value. Instead, it has already received the value 0. This way, all of the tasks overwrite the value again and again to 1. And this is why we are eventually getting the final value of 1, like we saw here. Let's take a look at the second version of this program. And now we have a second counter here, safe counter, and we have a second function, safe increment function. It takes a lock as a parameter, and we are using async context manager with this lock, and all the code related to incrementing the safe counter is placed under this context manager. In the main function, we have created the AsyncIO lock, and we are passing the lock to the safe increment coroutine. So we have created 10 tasks once again, this time with safe increment, and we are here printing the final value that we get after the execution of all of these tasks. Let's execute this program now, and here we see. So first, it's again the execution of unsafe incrementing, and it's still 1. And here is the safe increment. So the first task gets the value of counter as the initial value 0, and it increments it to 1. And the second task gets the value 1 and increments it to 2. And the third task gets the updated value 2, and so on. So final value of the safe counter is 10. So how is it happening? Because this block is now locked for the concurrent execution of tasks. This lock is a mutex lock, and only one task can access it at a time. So each of the tasks gets the updated value from the previous task, and it doesn't overwrite the value of the safe counter. Now let's get back to our email notification app that we created in the previous session. What we want to do is that when we send an email, we also want to maintain statistics of how many emails have been sent to each of the users. Let me show you how to do these changes. So we have here a log, email stats log, and a dictionary to store the sent counts. So we have here update email stats function, and we are using async context manager to apply this lock. And each time an email is sent to a user, we increment the count for that email by 1. And here in notification worker, as it sends this email, we are also calling the update email stats function. So this is all that we need to do for this change. And let's run this function. And now you see some stats are coming. Let me terminate it. And you see that the stats started coming from the very first email. Here we have the stats for each of the 4 users. That's all for this session. See you in the next one.